Welcome to the Monday Mile edition of the Over 50 Health and Wellness Show, your quick hit of inspiration and practical advice to kickstart your week strong. Each Monday, I'll be joined by one of our Silver Edge coaches as we tackle one specific topic you might be struggling with, whether that's nutrition, fitness, mindset, or lifestyle, and we'll break it down into clear, simple, actionable tips you can start using today. And here's the best part. You can knock out this episode on your morning walk. Just lace up those sneakers, hit the pavement, and let us coach you through the first mile of the week. Okay, let's get moving. All right, folks, welcome back to another Monday Mile edition of the Over 50 Health and Wellness Show. I am your host, Coach Kevin. I don't have one of my other coaches here with me today, so you're stuck with just me. But what I want to do today is I want to talk specifically to those of you who are planning on going on a diet this new year. So New Year's resolution 2026, this is going to be your year, right? So let's start with some grim statistics. In the United States alone, statistics show us that over 60% of Americans are going to make a health and fitness related New Year's resolution this year. So that's 96 million of us just here in the US. And of course, the vast majority of those people or the vast majority of those resolutions are going to be weight loss resolution. And ready? Here's the crazy thing. 88% of those New Year's resolutioners are going to quit in the first 2 weeks. How dismal is that? And then I read somewhere that only 9% of people who make New Year's resolutions, whether any kind of resolution, actually make it all the way through the year. So that's pretty grim, right? So we here in the nutrition, fitness, wellness community, we all know that, of course, January is our biggest month of the year, right? Everybody's trying to make these resolutions, and that's when they're jumping into all these different programs. But you know, the second best month for us coaches that do this for a living? It's February. And you know why? It's because all those people that made New Year's resolutions, they quit in 2 weeks, and then 2-3 weeks go by and they go, oh man, I need to get back on track. So literally we see this big influx of people who are interested in weight loss and getting in shape and getting fit, all that, getting back in shape, whatever it is. We see this giant influx in January, and then we see another big wave in February. These are the folks that started in January, were really excited, and then just a couple weeks in, something happens, life probably, right? And then they are starting again in February. But what I want to do today is I want to help those of you that have some sort of weight loss resolution. And look, if you're listening to this, you don't have a weight loss resolution. If you're over 50, your goal in the new year should not be just to weigh less, because here we don't talk about weight loss, we talk about fat loss. You want to lose fat and either maintain or, better yet, build lean muscle mass, right? So if you plan on making some sort of health fitness related resolution here for 2026, and this is going to be your year, and you want to be one of those 9% in 2026, I want to share with you that if I were going to go on a diet this new year, if I was serious about this being my year, here's exactly what I'd do between now and January 1st to set myself up for success. So this episode's going to release on Monday. Let's see, that'll be November 24th. So that gives us just about 5 weeks left of 2025. I think that's, what is that, like 39 days if my math is correct. So let's go. Here are 5 steps that I would take if I were serious about this being my year to build a lean, strong, healthy body that I love for the rest of my life. And of course, I've got a 6th bonus step for you as well. All right, let's hit it. Step number 1 is don't diet yet. Now, you're like, okay, Kev, yeah, I'm not starting my diet until January 1st. I get it. But in general, the holidays are actually a horrible time to diet. For example, here at the Silver Edge, almost all of our clients, we pull them if they're in a strategic fat loss phase coming into the holidays. We typically pull them out. So we reverse diet them as they go through the holidays. And the reason is it's really a tough time to be in a calorie deficit, to be on a diet as you're going through here in the U.S. Thanksgiving. And then, of course, we have all the lead up to Christmas, which for a lot of us is, a lot of going out, a lot of eating, a lot of sweets, a lot of drinking for some of us. So what we want you guys to do is to focus on metabolic restoration in these next 5 weeks. So we don't want you to be calorie restricted here. We want to get that metabolism revved up and ready to have a successful weight loss or a successful fat loss phase. And I'm talking especially to those of you that have a history of chronic undereating or yo-yo dieting. So again, for the next 5 weeks, I want you to make your focus here on restoring your metabolism. We're going to talk a little bit about what you might do for that. All right, so that's step number 1 is just don't diet yet. Don't even think about diet. You might even just put your scale away. Now, that doesn't mean just go hog wild, right? And eat all the treats and drink all the eggnog. We're going to talk about that in step number, I think, 5, but let's put a pin in that for now. All right, step number 2, if you aren't already doing this, or maybe it's been a while, I want you to start tracking your food. And what I mean by that is I mean weigh, measure, and track everything that you eat and drink. And what this is going to do, it's going to do a couple of things here. Number 1, it's going to give you some serving size education. So in other words, if you've never actually weighed or measured out a tablespoon of ketchup, that's a ridiculously small amount of ketchup. Most of you are putting more than that on your burger or whatever your fries, whatever you're eating ketchup with. But same thing with steak or chicken. Do you know what 4 ounces versus 6 ounces versus 8 ounces versus 12 ounces of meat looks like? Or, and granola is another one of my favorite examples. Very often you'll buy granola and you'll look on the back and it says serving size 1/4 cup. Who the heck is going to eat a 1/4 cup of granola? I mean, that's a ridiculously small amount of granola. But this gives you an idea of what a serving size is. But I think most importantly, especially if you want 2026 to be your year, you need to know your numbers. You need to know your numbers. So I would humbly submit that you have no business going on any kind of diet without knowing your starting place. That is, what are your current maintenance calories? So in other words, how many calories are you currently averaging every single day? You've got to know your numbers. You got to know your trends. You got to know your macros. So here's what we're going to do. If we're not already, we are going to, again, I know this is a bit of a pain in the butt, but we are going to weigh, measure, and track everything we eat and drink. If it's got calories in it and you take a bite of it, it goes into your app. MyFitnessPal is probably the most common one, but there's tons of calorie tracking apps out there. It doesn't matter which one you use. What we want here is a couple of things. One, we want to look at trends. So for example, maybe if you're a woman, maybe you're averaging 1,300 calories a day, say Monday through Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all hell breaks loose and you're eating 2,800 calories a day. So something like that. We want to look and see if we can find some trends. But really what we want to know is what's that average number? So if I were to track for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, I want to know what is the average number of calories I'm eating every day. That's an important number. The other thing we want to know is what percentage of those calories is coming from protein, carbs, and fat. Those are your macronutrients or your macros. You're going to want those numbers before you start a diet. That's very, very important because you don't want a generic diet. You certainly don't want a diet that's made for a 20-year-old, right? You want a diet that is specific to you. So you want a strategic fat loss strategy. And if you don't know your numbers, you're really not going to dial that in. You're just going to be shooting in the dark. You're just going to be guessing. All right. So step number 1, we're not dieting yet. We're really focusing on restoring our metabolism. Step number 2 is if we're not already carefully, meticulously tracking our food, we're going to do that between now and the end of the year. That's going to be very, very critical information for us on January 1st. Step number 3, I'd start bumping up my protein. Now, since you're tracking your food, it's going to be really easy. You can see how many grams of protein you're averaging every day. And I want you to start intentionally bumping up your protein just a little bit at a time. So look, if you're an OG listener to this, you already know what I'm getting ready to say, right? Our goal for those of us over 50 who want to build lean, strong, healthy, capable bodies is 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. So now that we're tracking, we can look. And so let's say I'm a 200-pound dude and I want to weigh 180 pounds. I'm aiming for 180 grams of protein. That's a lot of protein, right? Or maybe you're a lady, you weigh, say, 150, you wish you weighed 130. Well, your goal is to eat every day to average 130 grams of protein. Again, that's a lot of protein. And if you've never really been intentional about that, you might be surprised at how much you are under eating protein. So that's our goal. And I would take the next 5 weeks here and I would just slowly bump until I was at least close or closer to that number, that 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. So this is going to do a number of things here. Number one, it's going to increase your satiety. So protein is the most satiating of all our macronutrients. So macronutrients, again, are going to be proteins, carbs, and fats. So when we eat a lot of protein, we stay fuller longer. And this is going to help us decrease those carb cravings. And it's going to greatly help you out when we get to step number 4. And speaking of step number 4 is to start strength training if you're not already doing this. Not cardio, not Pilates, not a fitness class, nothing wrong with those, but we want some intentional strength training. So if you're not currently doing that, start. If you're currently doing that, let's be really intentional with that. Let's make sure we're applying the principles of progressive overload. Let's make sure that we are following a professionally designed, age-appropriate, functional weight training program. You want a strategic roadmap for where you're going in order to build some lean muscle, burn some fat, and to rev up that metabolism. If you're not currently following a professionally designed, age-appropriate, functional weight training program, we have a couple of amazing programs. We have Fit Foundations. That is a 10-week, 2-phase workout program delivered through our app. That one's geared towards beginners or people that are working out at home with limited equipment. Or we have far and away our most popular program is the Lean Body Blueprint workout program. This is a 6-month, 5-phase workout program. This is designed for those of you that are really serious about burning some fat, building some muscle, and just really revving up your metabolism. Now, full disclosure, this one does require that you have either a well-equipped home gym or that you belong to a commercial gym, right? Or look, if you don't like ours, I don't want to make this a commercial for ours, but there's a whole bunch of really good programs. You don't like ours, check out MAPS workout programs. They do some really good programs. Or the books by, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Mike Matthews. He's got a couple of books. One is called Bigger, Leaner, Stronger, I think. And that one's for men. And the other one's called Thinner, Leaner, Stronger. That one's for women. And he's got some workouts in those books. Typically, it's a push-pull legs kind of a thing. But really good sound workouts there. Not specific for our age demographic, but certainly very well professionally designed functional workout programs that you can modify for whatever your needs are. But my point is that you need a program and a professionally designed program, and you should be working on getting strong. You should be working on increasing your muscle. And what this is going to do is this is going to help us really, utilize all that protein that we're bringing on board, but it's also going to help us really rev up that metabolism. Again, a fast, strong, optimized metabolism is going to make that fat loss phase or your diet so much more effective and long lasting. All right, so just to recap, we've got step number 1, don't diet yet. That's probably pretty easy and pretty obvious. Step number 2, start tracking your food if you're not already doing that. Step number 3, we're going to bump up our protein. Step number 4, we're either going to start or we're really going to be intentional about our strength training program. Step number 5, and this is a big one. Guys, let's do some damage control, okay? There are so many opportunities for us to overeat and overindulge in this season. You need a plan. You need some sort of a game plan. Now, I'm a big fan of pre-gaming social events. I'll give you an example. So just last night, I went to Friendsgiving. My wife and I went out. Some friends of ours do just this knock it out of the park, crazy, over-the-top Friendsgiving every year. We just went last night, and they are vegetarians, and the husband is Pakistani. And there's all this wonderful, amazing Middle Eastern influenced food laid out in this giant buffet. But guess what? It's all carbs. It's all delicious. I mean, there's no shortage of desserts and all of these wonderful goodness there. So knowing that I am going to walk into a buffet, literally a buffet of just amazing carb goodness, I pregame. In my cases, I had 12 ounces of lean beef before I went. I had a little bit of cheese in there. I had some lettuce. So I had stocked up on my protein. I was good to go there. And I didn't walk in there starving. So I had a little bit of self-control. Now, don't get me wrong. I helped myself to a lot of that goodness there. But in general, if I'm going out to an event like this, I'll stuff myself on some protein before I roll into a party where I know there's going to be a whole bunch of great food. Now, I no longer drink alcohol. I haven't for the last couple of years, but when I did, I tried to decide beforehand how many drinks I was going to have, and I try to stick to that. Now, to be perfectly honest, that didn't always work out so well for me because as I'm planning, no, I'll only have 2 drinks. I'd get there, I'd have my 2 drinks, and I'd start feeling pretty good. And I'd think to myself, well, what would feel really good is have a 3rd drink, have a 4th drink. So sometimes that didn't work so great for me, just being perfectly honest here. But another thing I would do is I would be the DD. So I'd be the dedicated driver, and that earned me some brownie points, and it would make it so that I couldn't drink because I was responsible for other people's lives. I'd be the designated driver. So a couple of things there. Coach Monica is really big with her coaches that drink alcohol. She says, look, you can have as many drinks as you want, but you got to drink, I think it's 12 ounces. Heck, it might. Sorry, Monica, I might be messing this up. I think it's 12 ounces of water in between every single drink, but it might be 16. That seems like a lot of water. But the idea is you're going to have a lot of non-alcoholic liquid in between each drink. That's just going to naturally limit how much you drink. It's also going to slow you down a good bit. Right? So there we go. You need to have some sort of a strategy. You need to be mindful as you're rolling into some of these events. And I know for a lot of you, some of these events are going to be less joyful and more anxiety producing. So not everybody has got, rolling into these parties feeling festive and happy and wonderful. Some of you may be anxious. You may be like me. You might be an introvert. You might be around a whole bunch of people you don't know. And so it's really easy to emotionally eat and emotionally drink in those environments. Just do a little self-work before you go in there and just be mindful about what you're doing. Again, you want to make sure you enjoy this season, that you're connecting deeply with loved ones, but you don't want to go overboard. You don't want to go crazy. You do want to do some damage control. So there you go, guys. Let's just recap one more time. Don't diet yet. Step number 2, track your food if you're not already. Step number 3, let's bump up that protein. Step number 4, start some strength training or be intentional in your strength training. And number 5, do some damage control. So that's what I'd do if I were planning on going on a diet or a fat loss phase or getting back in shape, whatever my health, fitness related goal was for 2026. This is what I'd be thinking about between now and the end of the year. Like I said, we still got 5 weeks left, plenty of time for us to set ourselves up for success. Now, I do have a bonus step for you here. So step number 6, get on the wait list for the Collective. So for those of you that don't know, the Collective is our group coaching membership program. It's only $47 a month. That breaks down to $1.57 a day. I mean, come on, people. There are no contracts. You can cancel any time because we are here to help you succeed. We're not here to lock you into any kind of long-term goofy programs. But the Collective is a 4-stage framework where you get a exact roadmap, tools, and support to build your lean, strong, healthy body. You are going to learn exactly how much you, not just people over 50 in general or people in general, are supposed to eat and how to train for your specific goals. So we have weekly live coaching calls. We have a fan-freaking-tastic community full of like-minded people who are on the same journey. Now, the Collective only opens a few times a year for enrollment, so that is going to open up here, of course, at the end of this year. For January, we will be opening enrollment there, but you guys can join that wait list now, so you'll be one of the first to know. You'll actually be able to join early if you are on the wait list, so you guys get on that wait list. I will put a link to the Collective as well as our Fit Foundations workout program and our Lean Body Blueprint workout program into the show notes. You guys can find that on whatever app you're listening to this on, or certainly head over to our website. We have all that information there as well. But that's what I'm going to leave you with here for step number 6. Your bonus step is to get on that wait list for the Collective. This is your best chance at making 2026 your best year. You're going to have all that built-in expert professional coaching. You're going to have that community. You're going to have that accountability, and you're going to get a plan again that is exactly tailored to your goals. And for those of you that actually are following these steps between now and the end of the year, you're going to be ahead of the game, because the first thing we do inside the Collective is in stage 1, you are going to, for a minimum of 2 weeks, you're going to weigh, measure, and track all your food. If you've already done that here in these weeks coming up to the new year, you're already going to have your numbers. Because again, inside the Collective, we are specifically creating these programs based on your numbers. That's how we personalize your Your metabolic restoration phase and your strategic fat loss phase, your reverse diet phases are all based on your specific numbers. And this isn't a generic program or a generic roadmap. So there you go, folks. If you just did this for the next 5 weeks, you'd be putting yourself in a great position to make 2026 your year to finally be successful. All right, folks, that's what I've got for you today. Until next time, stay strong. Okay, folks, that is your Monday Mile for this week. Quick, simple, and packed with power. If you found this helpful, be sure to share it with a friend who's walking their own path to better health. And hey, don't forget to tune in this Wednesday for our full-length episode of the Over 50 Health and Wellness Show. Until then, keep walking, stay consistent, and as always, stay strong.